regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Board, live streamed over LTV. Carol, would you please read the roll call?
Councilwoman Burke Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Lees.
Present.
Councilwoman Overby.
Here.
Councilman Bragman.
Here.
Supervisor Van Scoyac.
Present. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Justice for all.
We had a public hearing previously scheduled for today. That was to amend the UR map, URP 16 and EH-17. That has been canceled. Will be renoticed. We have a public portion where members of the public can call and address us. But first today we have our esteemed town crier, Hugh King, with us. Good morning.
Okay, I'm sorry I said I wasn't coming, but we had to cancel something, so here I am. I want to thank Councilman Lees and the rest of the board for your work on the Hedges Parsons Cemetery. Thank you, Councilman Lees, for sending me the report.
You're welcome.
Don't let anybody get it in the way of doing this. We don't have to know how to do the stones ourselves. We just have to find somebody to do it. And you did. And you found really, really well-qualified people to do it. So congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
The next thing is the Patago Indian Cemetery. I was asked by Joanne to do some investigating, and this is what I've learned. The first thing you should do is go to the obvious places where the answers are. And that would have been the planning board and the map, okay, an atlas. I got to those late. In fact, I didn't even get to the planning board. But Andrea Meyer from the Long Island room was very, very helpful. So we located where that was. And the planning board report was just so voluminous. It was wonderful. And I don't know why we didn't go there first. So that's that. Now, I also asked you questions last time, and I forgot what the questions were. I don't have them.
Well, I can tell you what mine was, because I went back.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't know the exact answer, but I will give it my best. Mine was, what is Rowdy Hall originally? Where was it located? And Rowdy Hall was a boarding house. It was located in the village, and it was inhabited primarily by artists who would stay up into the wee hours of Saturday night, early Sunday morning, partying. And as parishioners, sometimes the parties were still going, I think, in the morning as parishioners were on their way to church. And they named it Rowdy Hall as a result. Subsequently, there's a really fine bar tavern restaurant named Rowdy Hall. Caddy Burke Gonzalez' husband's the longtime 20-year plus, I think, bartender at that location.
Is that why it's called Rowdy Hall?
And you know, that's in that's in the village. It's in a little tucked away area called the Parish Mews off Main Street, right near the old VFW hall. So
that's great. You got
that's
it.
the best I know. I don't recall exactly where the original boarding house was. So
It was right next to the. It was right next to the Presbyterian. The original boarding house was right next to the Presbyterian Church. You know that empty lot that's right next to the East End? That's where it was.
So parishioners would walk by the house because these guys would be up partying all night.
Right.
Right. That's how
Would
we
refer to them as Rowdy Hall.
And the building.
Presbyterians still do that.
I think that's still happening out here too, right?
Probably.
And the building is still standing. You know, it's at the end of Hunting Lane. It was moved there by Mrs. Harry Hamlin. So the house is still, it's right on the corner of Hunting Lane and Egypt Lane. All right, thank you. Who's next? Anybody?
I'll go.
Okay.
You asked me what year did Guildhall open? And Guildhall opened in August of 1931.
Correct. Perfect. And you know what the Guild Hall of East Hampton Town was before Guild Hall was built in 1931? This building was in Amagansett.
What's it on Meeting House Lane, where is the old Asian theater?
It's not on Meeting House Lane. It's on
Mayan Coma.
Mayancoma Lane.
Yeah, we're across from the
Right.
school.
That's Mayancoma Hall. That's right. That's where you would have a theater event before 1931.
It actually has one of the most beautiful scallop windows
Yeah.
in all of East Hampton. It's great architecture.
Okay. Anybody who's next?
Either one.
Okay.
So mine, I don't know the exact question, but I think it was the question about a famous first lady that lived here. And it was Julia Gardner Tyler.
Right.
And Julia Gardner was 24 years old when she married the 10th president of the United States, John Tyler. And there was 30 years, he was 30 years her senior, so it was quite scandalous.
Mhm.
It was a secret engagement and a secret wedding. But she was considered the darling of the capital.
Mhm.
She gave lavish parties and she dressed where people wanted to imitate how she dressed. And she ended up having 7 children. And she was actually the first person to be married in the White House.
Oh, wow.
And her parents were David Gardner, who was actually killed at a presidential outing on a boat when a naval gun exploded.
Mhm.
Let's see, and her mother last name was McClatchin. So, and they were both very prominent New York families.
That's right. That's good. I don't have to add anything to that.
Well done, Sylvia.
Thanks.
Councilman Bragman?
You asked me what the first school for children was in the town of East Hampton. That was a little tricky.
Oh, I did.
And I believe that was the townhouse that is still extant today. And I don't have my notes on the dates, but I think it was in the late 1700s, like 1782 or somewhere around there. Charles Barnes was the first school teacher, and apparently they didn't teach very much to children. It was mostly the Bible and some rudimentary figuring so that they could, handle props and buying and selling stuff. And it also, the description said that they let the children out of school for some of the winter months so that they could help work with the whales that were captured. And one of the less fortunate aspects of education in those days was corporal punishment was pretty severe. And among other punishments that were listed was they could throw you out into the snow for a while if you weren't paying attention. And there were some other rather unsavory practices. And along the way, I thought maybe it was Clinton Academy, the obvious answer, but I looked up Clinton Academy as well. And the interesting part about that is that was for older kids who were college bound or who were going to go into professions that required more training, like surveying. And what I found really fascinating is that was also somewhere like just after the Revolutionary War, and it was co-ed. The school was co-ed, which is kind of a remarkable fact, given women's rights progress, which have taken us so long. Oh, and I forgot, there was another school for children, I think, on the near the Hook Mill. There were 2 schools for children, but I don't know. I don't have the detail because I can't find my notes.
It's all right. You're talking. First of all, the townhouse, the building that's there now next to Clinton Academy, I think that's the second one. There might have been one before that. But the townhouse that's still sitting there next to Clinton Academy, the East Hampton Town trustees met in that building. and then they rented it out to
Yes,
the people
yep.
for the school, right? You got that? And then the
Yes,
Hook
I remember that. Yeah.
and the Hook School was behind where the Methodist church is, down up in the Hook. And that building is still standing. It's down in Beach Hampton, or Amagansett East, I guess you have to call it, but it's Beach Hampton. That building is still standing. Somebody bought it and moved it down there, the Hook School. And then there was another school. When you go to Town Pond to the light and you make a right and you're headed toward Bridgehampton, there was a school called the Southside School. And that building is still standing. It's been made into a garage. And the reason I know that building was there, or there was a school there, I was looking through the Star one time, and you know what they did? They printed the scores of the children in the paper. They put their grades in the paper. And not only did they put their grades in the paper, they put their behavior grade right next to it. Deportment, it was called. And guess what? The children who had a 95 grade average usually had a deportment grade of 95. And those children who had a 65 grade average usually had a deportment grade close to 65. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
A favorite phrase for student behavior was working to the best of his abilities. I think I got a couple of those when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's amazing that school recess, which kids might look forward to, is actually going and trying whale blubber on the beach. That must have been a heck of a fun job.
Smelly job.
Who's left? Councilman Lee?
I'm left. You have me. I guess mine is a little bit of a crossover from some of the other ones. You asked me what were the two cultural institutes in East Hampton that Mr. Lorenzo Woodhouse and his wife Mary actually were supporters of them. What were they and where are they now? So there's two main ones, but I'm gonna go over with four of them. I don't know what came first was the East Hampton Library, and that crosses over to what Jeff said about the Clinton Academy. They actually support the restoration of the Clinton Academy for higher education, but the East Hampton Library was originally in the Clinton Academy initially. In 1897, and then the East Hampton Library was then formed in 1912. And then Mary Lorenzo Woodhouse, being a great benefactor to the town of East Hampton, living in the village on Hunting Lane, I believe. Then in 1931, built Guild Hall for performing arts. So that's a little crossover there also to the previous answer.
Right.
But I also will go with two more. I guess Clinton Academy for the restoration, because that's a lovely place where a lot of the historical society's lectures are. And then they actually were the benefactors of what's known as the Duck Pond, or the nature trail in the village right now. They had their Woodhouse Playhouse, I think they would call it, on Hunting Lane, and the nature preserve down there also, which they unfortunately put a lot of invasives in there, if you want to say, not as native as possible. But I think that's also a cultural institution of people in the village with children and such too. But they were great benefactors, and I hope all the individuals that might be listening or out here will continue to support the cultural heritage of East Hampton Village and Town and its history. Thank you, Hugh.
Well, thank you.
We have one message that came in from Jason Nauer, who is reminding us that John Tyler still has 2 living grandsons.
Yeah, he had like 10 or 11 children. He had children with his first wife, Letitia, who had a stroke and died. And that's why he was able to marry Julia. Okay, and you ready for next time?
And then his son wound up having kids late in life as well.
Well, his son is buried in East Hampton, one of them, J. Alexander Tyler, is buried in the South End Burying Ground. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be here on the 17th. Okay, but
you've said that before.
Yeah, I'm not trusting you saying you're not.
But what about no? The first meeting. Now, the first meeting in September will be like on the 3rd.
The 3rd.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first regular meeting's on the 3rd.
For that meeting, each of the board members will be able to ask me a question. All right, so I want you to develop a question to ask that town historian if he shows up, okay? And that's all I got.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Always
for your work.
Real pleasure. Thanks for keeping history alive in East Hampton. At this point, we'll go to the public portion where any member of the public may call in and address the board on any topic. The call-in number should be up on the screen, and it happens to be 351-888-6331. And Jason, if you'll put that up, I see it's up now. Do we have any callers on the line?
We currently have no callers on the line, but we just have one caller. They just started calling in right now.
Okay. All right, very well. We'll hear from the caller.
All right, caller, you are on the air.
Hi. Good morning. I'm Charlie Whitmore. Peter, good
Charlie.
morning. Yeah, I'd like to address the board briefly, and then I've got to get to work. You have meetings at very strange times. Anyway, so I'll read my statement. I read with dismay the article, New Home for Ball Fields. Hello? Can you hear me?
Listening. Yes, we can. Please continue.
Oh, okay. I heard it. I read with dismay the article, New Home for Ball Fields, in the October 17th edition of last year's East Hampton Star. Since then, I have come before the town board on several occasions to speak out against the relocation of the Pantigo Place ball fields. The proposed relocation of the Little League baseball fields from Pantigo Place to Stephen Hand's Path in Wainscott is a bad idea. These Little League fields were created decades ago for the sole use of the town's young baseball players. The fields are an irreplaceable component of the town's scarce recreational infrastructure, strategically located near the majority of the town's nearly 4,000 local children. The proposal to move the East Hampton Little League ball fields to Stephen Hand's Path in Wainscott flies squarely in the face of planning logic. The months of April, May, and June, coinciding with the Little League season, are the worst months for traffic on Stephen Hand's Path and the connecting arteries. They are choked with contractors and workers headed out of town at the end of the day. Busy parents will be forced to battle traffic while crisscrossing the village numerous times to get their young ball players to and from practice and games. The daunting drive to get their players from their homes in Amagansett, Springs, and East Hampton North will be a serious impediment to Little League participation for generations to come. This alone makes Stephen Hand's Path an inferior site. The town should be encouraging youth baseball, not discouraging it. The existing ball fields on Pantigo Place are excellent for a number of reasons. The fields are centrally located between Amagansett and East Hampton with easy access from Springs. They are on a cul-de-sac with no through traffic and with shops nearby in which children and parents can buy refreshments and snacks. It's easy for parents to run into the village to grab groceries or do a few errands while the children are playing baseball. The fields are also extremely safe due to their proximity to the town police station and medical facilities. The very idea of moving this well-placed East Hampton recreational oasis to distant Wainscott makes no logical planning sense. The proffered excuse from the town board has been the question, where else can we put them? Flies in the face of reality. The East Hampton town has been buying and banking land for public use for over 50 years. The town has hundreds of acres at their disposal. To even begin to suggest that they cannot find 5 well-placed acres on which to relocate the cherished ball fields would be comical were it not for the fact that an equitable new home for these fields is critically important to our town's children. The Pantigo Place fields are on land dedicated and zoned expressly for the purpose of recreation. The town has made precious little space available for active sports and recreation, making it essential that we fight to protect this unique parcel. The town has done no serious planning study for this Little League field relocation. No representative community-led committees, no park planning process, no feasibility studies, no needs assessment studies, no traffic studies, nothing to support this proposed relocation. Just a half-baked ad hoc proposal formulated solely to get rid of the ball fields. Hard to believe in a town so demanding of proper planning. The town's singular goal is to ram through the Stony Brook Emergency Annex Plan, and the town is willing to sacrifice our young ball players to do it. The town has offered no quid pro quo nor exchange in kind for this irreplaceable parcel. Just a net loss of 4.5 acres dedicated to children's recreation and a one-way ticket to the outskirts of town. Shame on you, Town Board, and shame on Stony Brook for being a party to such a scheme. The Town Board can do better than offer up our children for token Stony Brook Hospital money and election season photo ops. This Town Board is responsible for these fields and the children that use them. Keeping the children of our families safe and in their communities for after-school recreational programs should be the cornerstone of any new town ball field proposal. The ball fields at Pantico Place have served our young Little Leaguers well for nearly 50 years. If the Town Board is unwilling to offer an equitable replacement for the Pantico Place fields, then leave them where they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. You said quite a lot there. And, you've also said on several occasions prior your opinion here. I would point out that Route 27 is the most heavily trafficked road in town, and that is directly abutting the ball field. So in terms of traffic, we have traffic all over town. In terms of recreation, the Stephen Hand site was actually selected through a community-based committee, and that work began under the previous supervisor. This is not something that's just being ramrodded, through this lease that we've had with Southampton Hospitals at least 2 years prior to this date. And we did a very comprehensive look of all potential parcels, and this was the selection that was made. And we've invited you to participate in development of that site. By the way, Little League itself was involved with the siting and the search for ball field. And I think that the public has supported the need for a community health care facility here in town. I think having this pandemic hit laid bare the inadequacies of local ability to get testing here. We worked very hard to bring testing in with a facility right here in town that would be available to the public in a centralized location. This discussion took place several years ago and culminated with a decision to site those ball fields. By the way, Southampton Hospital is paying for the development of those new ball fields at the site we select. So I do appreciate you calling and voicing your opinion once again.
And Charlie, I did reach out to you at your office, left my personal cell phone number to give me a call. I'll re-email you again. I look forward to brainstorming and discussing where some of the selection process was, so you can understand how it was vetted, and just have a greater discussion with you. So I'll re-email you again to your business email at info, and I look forward to that time.
I just want to remind the public that's listening to this that Southampton Hospital will be moving to a different site, which is going to be further away from us, and it's going to be at the Southampton College campus site in the future, the near future, as they consider moving. And, that puts all of us at risk the further east we live. And we do need a site for, an emergency site here someplace in town. And this was, we've been talking about this. We've had discussions about this with the planning department. They've given us 2, I believe, work sessions when they showed us different sites, and then how this site would be the chosen site by Stony Brook Hospital. So I just, we are talking about people's lives here when we talk about having Stony Brook Hospital build an emergency site here close to us. And this has been, in the many years that I've been involved in East Hampton, people have been looking for, I remember working with John Likey years and years ago, looking for a site for an emergency unit here that we would have instead of just going to our doctors and then getting an ambulance and having to make the trip to Southampton Hospital. So it's been a lot of years that we've been working on trying to find a site in East Hampton. And again, children are important. They need to play sports. We're not leaving them out. We're certainly helping to find another space for them. And we have found that space. And I congratulate everyone that was involved in making the time, effort, and energy that they took to look at different sites throughout the town before, settling on the Stephen Hand site. So I just, want to make sure people see both sides of this story. But I appreciate any involvement that the community can give us. It's always better when we have community involvement.
Charlie, thanks again for calling. Jason, do we have any other callers on the line?
Yes, we do. I am unmuting now.
Thank you.
And hold up. And you are on the line.
Thank you. Good morning. It's David Buddha. How are you?
David, I can hear the
Morning,
TV
David.
in the background. Could you mute that?
I have nothing. No, that's not me.
That's not you?
This doesn't. I have no audio on.
There's nothing in the background. I heard a feedback up.
I'm still hearing the feedback.
Do you have a TV on in the
There's
background, or is
nothing.
there a computer on the background?
Nope.
Okay, David, let's try to get through this. And can you go ahead and
Okay,
ask
hopefully
your question or make your comments?
All right. It's very quick. I kind of missed the beginning of the meeting, but I believe that the public hearing was canceled or to be rescheduled. Is that correct? The one that was
That's correct.
to be held today?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So I'll move on to the other thing. With regard to the issue of ballfield relocation or siting of the emergency hospital facility that East Hampton desperately needs, in all the discussions, I've always wondered why there's never been a mention of the possibility of using the privately owned, acquiring the privately owned former Stearns site on Pantico Road, which would seem to be large enough to accommodate either use. And I know, I'm not sure what the current zoning is, but it's never been mentioned as something that could be feasible either for the hospital to buy or for the town to buy for either use. So I just was wondering whether that's ever been considered.
Yeah, that site was considered. It's been considered for a number of potential uses, including ball fields and hospital emergency centers. And the value of that property, I think, was the biggest deterrent there. Significant expense to acquire that property.
Is the current property currently on the market, and is there currently an asking price that you could
It's
mention?
been on the market for some time.
Yeah.
And in terms of the asking price, you could probably inquire yourself on that.
All right, I
But
just want
it's
to know
not-
because I don't
It's in the
recall it being
multiple billions
mentioned.
of dollars south of the highway, multiple millions of dollars.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Stearns
All right,
site is 4 acres. I think you have to buy the Stearns site and then the building next door to it as well to get this same acreage that you would have over on Panago Place. And
That was looked at, though, David.
It was looked at, and to just go about the acreage that the committee was looking at was larger because we were looking at either a playgrounds for the kids, greater amount of parking, places to warm up, batting cages. So the acreage is that was one of the determining factors. If anyone wants to contact my office, I can discuss and go through all that criteria that the committee looked at anytime.
All righty. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David. It's nice to hear from you. Do we have any other callers on the line, Jason?
We currently have. Oh, sorry, he's trying to talk again. David, you're still on the line?
Yes. Just one more thing. I saw in today's paper that Peter, you are optimistically hopeful that there will be a return to town hall in September for live meetings, and I'm just wondering whether that also includes the reopening to the public of the town offices next door on Pantico Place.
Well, I'd like to be able to get to that point, but I think we're going to take it one little step at a time for now. Again, I noted that there are other municipalities that are starting to have these hybrid meetings where they're allowing a limited number of people to sign up ahead of time, and that the physical space is determining the occupancy in many cases. Again, I haven't seen any meetings that allowed more than 10 people from the public to gather in a meeting hall, again, wearing masks and socially distanced. Again, I think we'll have to continue to take the views of the public via the telephone or dialing in, because not everybody will be comfortable with being in person. So I think we'll continue to operate as we have, but with the ability at some point in the not so distant future of allowing folks to come in. So if you were comfortable enough to do that, David, you'd be able to come in. And again, I think, the town board members would be, again, also distanced within the room. We probably would set up the dais a little differently. One of the last meetings we had in public before everything shut down, we had a socially distanced town board meeting in the meeting hall. So, again, the numbers continue to be at a rather low rate of infection here. We're going to continue to monitor that and take very, very much baby steps moving back, because we don't want to put folks at risk. And we still want people to have the ability to comment. So we'll give them various options.
All right. Can I just ask
do you have any idea? Sure.
Go ahead, David.
Do you have any estimated timetable as to when appointments will be accepted at the various town offices, such as the assessor's office, the building department, the planning department, et cetera?
Again, we're going to play this by ear. We'll make a determination sometime next month as to whether we'll continue as we have, or if we'll start to open up some of the offices by appointment. This is all new territory, so we would rather err on the side of caution and not put folks at risk.
Although I thought that our department heads already had that ability. Some of them are already seeing members of the public by appointment only. It's at the discretion of the department head, correct?
Yeah, if there is a situation where the information needed or whatever business has to be conducted can't be conducted remotely or by other means, then other arrangements have been made on a case-by-case basis.
Well, some department heads are reluctant to allow any appointments until all of the offices are open on a similar basis.
And again, it depends on the type of business that you want to conduct with the town. So if it can't be ascertained or conducted in another way, then we have been making arrangements on a case-by-case basis.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, David. You too.
Can I just ask a question? So I think today we're noticing for public hearing, 2 hearings on September 17th. Right now, the way that they're written, the way I read it is that it's going to be still held via teleconference.
Yeah.
So is that works whether we decide that the board can be in the meeting room as well, because it's a hybrid meeting? Is that how it, so that's the language in there, John, is fine if we start hybrid meetings in September?
I don't believe having people appear in public makes the hearing in default.
Yeah,
But
the
certainly, if council thinks we need to add language that people may appear in public, I don't know. Again, we haven't.
Or remotely in the alternative.
Both the notices advise people to check the town's website to see if there's any changes in the meeting process, but the notices also have the traditional notice of having a hearing at a certain time in town hall, and then have the COVID language after that that says that the town may not be holding them in person, and so it'll be remote. So I think we're pretty well covered.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
Do we have any other callers on the line, Jason?
We currently have no other callers on the line.
Okay, at this point, then we'll move on to resolutions. Kathy,
Okay.
would you?
Sure. So let's start with 2020-797. It's approval of the warrant. Claims total $4,903,418.11. And the utility warrant totals $54,503.74.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
798 is an agreement with Suffolk County Office for the Aging to provide expanded in-home services for the elderly program and case management for 2020-2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
799 is an agreement with Suffolk County Office of the Aging to provide residential repair services to seniors for the years 2020 and 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2020-800 is to amend resolution number 2020-656, where we accepted bid for EH20-021 supply and delivery of miscellaneous kitchenware items for June 2020, Mibble Foods of New York, Inc. and Samtel and Son, Inc.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
801 is for the town clerk to issue refund checks for various refunds, including parking permits and recycling permits.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
2020-802 is to appoint Dana Cowbacker to the position of office assistant with the town clerk and tax receiver office for a 35-hour work week at an annual salary of $32,403.28. And this is retroactive to August 17th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
803 is a budget modification for COVID information outreach. We're moving $6,000 from substance abuse outreach to outreach advertising.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
I'd like to offer resolution 2020-804. This is to appoint seasonal lifeguards Brendan Faherty and Breland Bushman. Mr. Breland Bushman is advanced lifeguard at $15.50 an hour starting August 18th, 2020. And Brendan Faherty, senior lifeguard at $16.50 an hour, will be starting August 12th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
2020-805 is to appoint environmental aid in aquaculture, Amanda Duman. She was given an examination for environmental aid and immediately reachable. Her position was posted, and that she'll be appointed to the full-time position of environmental aid in the aquaculture department at an annual salary of $41,516.16 for a 40-hour work week. Said appointment is to take effect August 31st, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
2020-806 is the amend previously adopted resolution 2020-764. Resolved that resolution 2020-764, which was adopted August 6, 2020, is amended to approve the payment of previous invoices for the sanitation department and not the highway department, as was stated incorrectly in resolution 2020-764.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 807 is a notice of public hearing in the matter of the increase and improvement of facilities of the Camp Hero Sewer District in the town of East Hampton in Suffolk County, New York, pursuant to Section 202-B of the town law. The scheduled public hearing will be on September 17th at 11 a.m. and the financing of this project is at $78,000.
Can I just add something, Sylvia? Our bond counsel had requested that, in addition to the publication, that we mail a copy of the notice to each property owner. So if we could amend that resolution accordingly, and we'll get the mailing list and mail each property owner a copy of the notice.
I will amend the resolution to say that a copy of the notice of public hearing will be mailed to each homeowner that is affected.
Yes.
As amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 808 is to release deposit for Esments Enterprises, Inc. This was a bid deposit that is to be refunded at the amount of $2,000 in the purchasing department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 809 is to accept a bid for the Camp Hero wastewater system operation and maintenance service for 2020. This is to Clear River Environmental. It is for time and material, and it's on an on-call basis.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 810 is a budget modification in the town attorney's office, moving I'm a little trouble reading this. $150,000 from unreserved surplus to outside professional.
And then there's a second one.
Oh, I'm sorry. And moving $5,500 from health insurance to law online services.
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry, Kathy.
No worries. Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution 2020-811 is to accept bid number EH20-028 for airport apron lighting improvements by Trenchless Incorporated, and the bids were reviewed and awarded in the amount of $63,028.80 for the airport lighting apron improvements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed and carried.
Resolution 812 is accepting a bid in connection with the Sag Harbor Stormwater Abatement project located on Bay Street and Marine Park by Laser Industries, and the bid amount was $389,426.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 813 is accepting bids for miscellaneous lighting and signage repair and replacement at the airport. The winning bid was submitted by Baseline King Corporation, and it is in the amount of $170,330,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I have an add-on. Do you want to hear it now, or should we put it at the end?
Jeff. Resolution 814 is a fire investigative training for Dwayne Denton to start September 21st, 2020, and not to exceed $2,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. 815 is to approve invoice number 000-26252, payment L.T. McLean Associates, a total amount of $289.63.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 816 is to amend finance budget for advertising and office equipment, and that's moving $1,000 from full-time salaries and $2,500 from conference and dues to advertising in the amount of $2,500 and office equipment in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 817 is the purchase of Mean Green Products, Mean Green Mower, at the amount of $28,921.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 818 is to increase outside council funding, law offices of James Ryan, 2019, and that will be increased and capped at an additional 10,000, constituting a total of 35,000 for the 2020 calendar year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Resolution 819 is approved memorandum of understanding with the Springs Fire Department for the use of the town-owned police vessels. This memorandum of understanding will allow for Springs personnel who've been trained to use the town-owned medical emergency fire and response vessels within 3 Mile Harbor and Hog Creek for emergency services. And that will be for a 10-year period with 2 additional 5-year terms upon mutual consent of both parties.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. 820 is to authorize payment past due priority dispatch 2019 invoice for the police department in the amount of $178.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. 821 is a resolution to pay NYMER deductible for Jesse Bennett, and that's in the amount of $2,012.66.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. Are there any additional resolutions to offer?
Yes, I have an additional resolution. It is a notice of public hearing to amend zoning to add an affordable housing overlay at 286 and 290 3 Mile Harbor Road. It schedules a public hearing for September 17th and recites that it can be held at the town hall courtroom or remotely under the COVID regulations, and that comments can be taken by mail to the town clerk, actually received by the close of business. I think that's supposed to say September 17th, 2020, or 1 week after the posting of a hearing transcript, whichever is later. So that would be as amended.
So I think of the, what you said at the top, I think it should be town hall main meeting room, not town hall courtroom.
So I'm
And-
sorry.
And I think what we had decided as far as public hearings, that it's challenging when we get responses from folks when we're having the public hearing. You know, we were doing it earlier in the day or the day before. I mean, I don't know if that matters because we're going to be posting transcripts, but I guess September 17th is fine. John, is that the proper date that's supposed to be in there?
I believe so, John.
I believe so too, given the
Okay.
notice. Can
That's the hearing
play
date.
till the 27th of August, that'd be the soonest you could have the public hearing
Okay.
due to the notice requirement.
And Kathy, thank you for the for the proofreading and the amendments.
Right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. Is there any other matters to bring before the board at this time?
I was just, since we've talked about transcripts, how are we making progress on getting those transcripts posted to the town website? Is there any update?
They're getting posted every day as they come in. If you website, you should see them up there. I mean,
For the town board too?
all boards.
Because there's
Town
been,
board, planning board, and zoning board.
okay, because as of yesterday, there were 6 for the town board and 5 we've already taken action on. And there are, I believe, 8 more public hearings that are outstanding, including music permit and fences and the Collins Avenue stop sign.
I mean, I'll check on it. I know every day I'm signing vouchers for the scripts, and they've been paid by finance, and at that point, the company does the transcript. As soon as they come in, we give them the heat to post. So
It looks like the zoning board ones are keeping pretty caught up on it, but there are a couple of the town board ones that are lagging behind on there. Planning board seem to be almost up to date too.
Yeah, because we're still at 6 and we've been at 6 for weeks.
I'll
So-
check and see what's still outstanding. Carol, do you have a list of what's not?
I have a list I can send you, John.
Music permit is outstanding. We've had that final hearing, and
Fences is outstanding, Collins
Yeah.
Avenue.
none of those have been closed until we get the transcripts published, and I believe it was 2 weeks after on some of those hearings.
2 weeks
Yeah.
was our standard before.
You have to check. It varied depending on the meeting. I think for some of the ones where there was more public interest, we left the hearing record open longer, up to 2 weeks after the publication of the transcript.
All right. But there's no requirement that it be that long. So in the ones that were simpler, we don't need.
Yeah, I mean, it does vary, again, based on the amount of public interest and
Sure.
participation, yeah.
I'll check on those because I thought I remembered seeing the Collins stop sign come through a while ago.
If you could let us know later today, John, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it might have came through, but it's just not posted. So
Yeah.
the next step would just be to post them.
Yeah.
Well, that's an important aspect of
That's the next step. Yeah.
That's probably the most important. Let's get them posted. Great. Any other matters to bring before the board this time? And Jason, do we have any other callers on the line?
There are currently no other callers on the line, and it has been checked.
Okay, I just want to make one brief comment dealing with our ocean. Last Tuesday during the town board meeting, when we were actually voting on a resolution to support our East Hampton ocean rescue volunteers with legislation that would enable them to put green lights in their vehicles and respond to emergencies. We actually had that kind of an emergency. And as I was discussing that resolution, I watched the town's dive team leave the town hall and head towards Montauk. And sadly, 2 swimmers got in trouble on the Napeague stretch, swimming at an unguarded beach, and one of them is still missing. And to that person's friends and family, we offer our condolences. Even on a very beautiful day with no wind, the ocean can be quite treacherous given the change of tide, and the surrounding sandbars can create riptides that are not seen at first. If you get caught in such a current, do not try to swim directly into shore. Swim parallel to the beach till you get out of that current. It will release you. Try to stay calm and relaxed, and just float if you have to. We again implore everyone to restrict their ocean swimming to areas that are guarded. We'll be extending some of the lifeguard hours due to the fact that schools will not be in session as early this year as they normally would. We want to make sure that especially young people, if they're out on the beach at these typically guarded areas, that we have coverage. So again, I just urge everyone to please, be cautious and stay safe along our ocean beaches particularly. If there's nothing else to offer from board members at this point, I'll just wish everyone a great day. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you in September, as our next meeting will be scheduled on the 1st.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Be well. Thank you.